here's the thing, no one else sees your jar. You might look fine, you might even convince yourself that you're fine, but inside, that jar might be overflowing. And sometimes we don't even realize how full that it's gotten until it's something small that tips us over. Living with rheumatoid arthritis can feel like your body is like a jar that's constantly filling up with pain, stress, and invisible burdens. As someone who's been treating people with rheumatoid arthritis for over 15 years, I've seen just how heavy that invisible load can get. Let's take a closer look at what that really means and how we can lighten that load. First, there's pain. It can be constant or unpredictable, like struggling how to open a jar or even climb the stairs. It's draining and it shows up in the background of everything that you do. And then there's fatigue. This isn't just feeling tired, it's different. Tiredness is when you stay up all night watching Netflix and then you're sleepy the next day. But fatigue in RA is very different. It feels like your limbs are made of lead, like you're walking through mud even after you've rested. Taking a nap is not going to fix all this fatigue. It's not just physical, it affects your clarity, your drive, and even your motivation. Next is inflammation. And rheumatoid arthritis inflammation doesn't just stay in the joints. It affects the entire body, including your brain, and that's where the brain fog comes in. You might lose track of a conversation, forget some common words, or walk into a room and just forget why you're even there. It's frustrating and sometimes even embarrassing, especially when you used to be the organized one. This kind of cognitive dysfunction, when there's difficulty with focusing, remembering, planning, it's rarely talked about because there's no exact measures for it. And then if you've been through all of this, there's the emotional toll. Now I haven't left much room over here. It's almost ready to overflow, isn't it? Life is already stressful even without a chronic illness. Right now, many people are dealing with a lot. There's been some political upheaval. There are family members that are not talking to each other because of the way they voted. This includes some of my patients. There's economic uncertainty. You don't know if you're going to have a job tomorrow or next week. How are you going to pay for your kids' activities or even bring home food for the family? There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of stress. And for most people, that's enough to fill a jar. But when you add rheumatoid arthritis on top of that, with its pain, its fatigue, brain fog, medications to remember, the uncertainty of the day-to-day, it's a lot to carry. But here's the thing, no one else sees your jar. You might look fine, you might even convince yourself that you're fine, but inside, that jar might be overflowing. And sometimes we don't even realize how full that it's gotten until it's something small that tips us over, whether it's an argument, a flare, or even a sleepless night. One of my patients told me, I don't even know how heavy everything was until I finally let someone else hold part of it. That stuck with me. You're not weak for feeling overwhelmed. You're not lazy for needing a rest. You're living with a chronic systemic illness and showing up every day in spite of that. And it's okay to say this is a lot. The good news is we can lighten this jar. Maybe we can't empty it completely, but even a little space can make a difference. As a rheumatologist with so many years of experience, I have seen how much stress, and not just physical, the emotional, shapes the RA journey. It doesn't always show up on lab tests, but it does show up in people's lives. And I've learned that small shifts can really add up. So one way to lighten the load is mindfulness. Even a few minutes of deep breathing, journaling, or guided meditation can calm your nervous system. Next, movement. Gentle yoga, tai chi, or even a walk can improve blood flow, energy, and even mental clarity. Sometimes 5 minutes is actually enough to even feel a shift. Sleep is another key piece. RA often disrupts sleep, but it's worth it to protect it. Things like a consistent bedtime, avoiding screens before bed, and making the room dark and cool can help your body and mind rest. It may not make it perfect, it may not put you right to sleep, but because you have to remember, rheumatoid arthritis itself can cause sleeplessness. But all of these different things that you do help. And lastly is community. We all need support. Therapy, a support group, even a friend, someone who gets it, who can lift part of that load. You don't have to carry it all alone. It's gotten empty. It's not totally empty, but there is space in here now. RA doesn't just affect your joints, it affects your entire self. But when we acknowledge what we're carrying and take small steps to try to alleviate that burden, we can start to feel lighter. What's one thing that you do to lighten your jar? I'd love to hear it in the comments. I'm Dr. B with the Plant Forward MD. I'll see you next time for more tips and tricks on autoimmune health.